Welcome to Meathead Test Kitchen, where food and fitness come to hang out. Nutrition, training, and life. It's all fair game on Meathead Test Kitchen.
Welcome to Meathead Test Kitchen, a podcast where it's very important to talk about your mental health since your brain is a muscle. I'm Sausha.
I'm Sadie.
And this month we're going to have a free-form conversation, so it might be a shit show. Just hold on to the end because there is a fucking point. Okay? I promise you. It's going to be, we did like bare bones notes today because I think it's a better conversation to have without being like, not that we're like super regimented in our notes anyway, but like it might not have as much structure as it normally does.
I mean, you're still going to get your requisite amount of swearing and poop jokes probably.
Oh,
so
yes.
There's that. But no, we're going to talk about something today that is mentioned a lot, but isn't like dug into in depth on the internet. Like most things that you see on social media, you only get the sexy parts and you don't get a full understanding of what the fuck the thing really even is at that point. But today we're going to talk about seasons of life, which is an interesting topic because everybody is in a different one. It doesn't matter if you are in the same household, you are in different seasons of life. So it's important to understand them and how to deal with them.
Yes.
And like we said, maybe you've heard the term before on social media. It's becoming a buzz term, if you will. And it basically means that nothing stays the same for long. We all know this. Routine can be a thing, and that's fine. That's why you build routine, but seasons come and go naturally. And ultimately, we as humans, we're constantly evolving, learning, and changing, growing, whatever our circumstances are, our needs, our mindset, the actions, whatever we have to do to evolve. That is what a season of life is.
And the reason that we talk so much about not comparing yourself to other people as much as you can, understanding that, you know, it naturally we do that, I think, as human beings, but also keeping in mind that everybody I'm in a different season of life than Sadie is right now. Just like we could work out the exact same way and eat the same stuff, our outcomes are going to be different. We're not in the same stage of life right now. We're not in the same season. So this line from the article that I linked below here is a great way of thinking about this. Accepting and evolving alongside these life cycles of life allows us to glide through our time on earth effortlessly. Holy fuck.
We were both talking before the podcast when we were getting ready, and Sausha said something, and I go, oh, this is going to be fun. I can't words today either. So here we go. You ready, motherfuckers?
Let me try that again. Allows us to glide through our time on earth effortlessly, knowing that our circumstances are always temporary.
Yeah, some things are going to be permanent, but most things will not stay the same. That's a good, thing to remember. Permanence in your life. Yes and no. I mean, you are permanently probably going to have the same traits that you are always going to have throughout your life, and that's about it. Everything else around you is evolving and changing, and I don't know if you've noticed lately, but it evolves and changes fucking quick.
Yep. Regardless of if you are ready to evolve and change with it or not.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of the saying adapt or die, because if you don't, you're going to get fucking left behind and you're going to be miserable. So either you change with it and you ride that fucking wave, or you get left behind and fall into the hole. So another line from the article that we really liked is, we celebrate when we succeed and we complain when we fail, but eventually we start to really consider who we are, what we want out of life, and how we want to move forward with each moment onwards. This is something I don't think that you learn as a human being until you pass the age of 30. And I'm not going to do ageism stuff, but you have like lived enough life at that point to fucking understand that you're just like, nah, I'm fucking with that.
Yeah.
Or I am fucking with that.
Right.
Like you know how to read people at that point in life. You have enough repetitions in, you get bonus points if you work in a service industry. That gets you a couple years ahead of the curve of 30 because you've dealt with a lot of fucking people. It's just, how is your people skills? That's part of it.
And another line from the last line that we'll reference from this article is that the seasons of life shape our character and then lay the framework for the life we have ahead of us.
Yes.
Mostly they help us evolve as humans.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think that I sent this actually like more towards the beginning of the month because we were just we always storyboard the episodes and for the month ahead. And I was like, I feel like we should talk about seasons of life, because even in the same year of 2022 for me, I'm on like my third season of the year, which is like natural because like we've had those seasons in nature too. But the beginning of the year I had injury. So at that point in time where I was and how busy my work schedule was is very different than it is right now. And I think that the reason I wanted to talk about this so much is a lot of times when we do the mental health check episodes, it's like stuff that we're dealing with. Like right now, Yes, I did the half marathon. My time was not what I wanted.
You fucking finished. Who cares?
Well, yes, but I didn't like beat myself up like I normally would, because I knew, one, I had just run a relay race with a team like 2 weeks before that. And it's just like accepting the fact that I have so much time in a day. So balance for me right now doesn't look like it did in January or even July. For me right now, I'm like, full transparency, I'm working like at least 50 hours a week. So balancing getting any kind of training in and my family life and getting adequate sleep makes it a little difficult for fitness to be my number one priority right now, which does pain me. And I don't necessarily love that. It does make me uncomfortable, but I have to kind of lean into being uncomfortable about that right now, because that's just where I'm at.
But you also know that discomfort is where you grow too. Mm-hmm. So like here's the other thing too. It's all about how you fucking frame it. And you just saw it right there. We talked about discomfort. Well, discomfort's how you grow. Mm-hmm. You're not going to grow if you're in a place of complacency. It's not how it works. Yep. You might think you're growing, but you're staying still. Everything around you is static. So are you. Mm-hmm. So like that's something to think about as well. It's all about how you look at it. It's how about you. This is shit we've told you before in previous mental health checks. I feel like a fucking broken record today. But like take these things, assess them as they come, and figure out how you're going to move forward in the best way for you. That's how you grapple with a fucking situation. Like, okay, this month alone, I've had 2 friends fucking die. Different circumstances, it's shitty. Something that you realize as you get older is that death is inevitable around you. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't... This is going to sound weird because I've dealt with death a lot in my life. Like I've had a lot of people die in my time on this fucking planet. But like the more you experience it, it still hurts. But you figure out how to compartmentalize it, put it in a box, and put it on the shelf after a shorter period of time. And It sounds fucked up. It really sounds fucked up because you don't want to forget somebody, and you don't want to, you don't want to do any of that shit. And that's not what I'm talking about. You can carry them with you wherever you go for the rest of your life. But like the way that it affects you in your day-to-day life, you're allowed to let it affect you, but there comes a point in time where you have to pull your fucking self back up off the floor and keep fucking moving. Mm-hmm. And that period of time gets shorter and shorter, I feel like, depending on the situation, of course. There's circumstances that will change, Nothing is always the same. There's always going to be exceptions, but like just by and large, like as a person that has had a, certain amount of time on earth at this point, to have 2 friends go in your period of time, that month, and it's just like, wow, really makes you take stock on shit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and but honestly, taking inventory of yourself, and I know that we did a whole entire episode about that, but I think that it's important to remember here and in these situations, like there is actually a really good episode of another podcast that I listen to. It's Thick Thighs Save Lives. Constantly Varied Gear. What up? Shout out. Here you go. But it's a really good episode. And I believe the title is something like We're Not All Superheroes. Basically, that episode would go very well in tandem to this one. So once you listen to our podcast, if you feel like checking that out, go ahead. But basically, it's like, stop fucking comparing yourself to other people, because somebody who looks like they have everything together on social media, maybe it's a mom that you're following, and she's working out all the time, and she's cooking this food for her kids, and she's taking care of her kids, and she's doing this, that, and the other thing. Maybe she looks like she has it all put together on the outside, but that's not you. You know what you've got going on in your life. So if your kid has fucking football practice in the morning or a sports practice, and then you have to get yourself to work, and then you got to make sure that you have all these lunches and everything made, and then you are working till 5 or 6 o'clock once rush hour is done, and then you got to come home and then do all your household chores, and then by the time you're done with that and eating dinner, it's 8 o'clock. What are you going to do at 8 o'clock? Probably go to bed.
Netflix and chill.
Because you're tired, right?
Netflix and chill, because they want you to fucking spend extra money to log in on a different account. But Hulu and chill. They got King of the Hill over there.
But like comparing yourself to somebody who's showing you, little snippets of their life, they're not showing you a whole entire day, and you know what you've got going on in your whole entire day. The reason I use that exact scenario that I just used, that spewed out of my mouth in a matter of 30 seconds, is because that's exactly what my Monday looked like. Yeah. I did not have time to go work out, because by the time I was home and had done everything I needed to do, I was exhausted. So I was like, you know what? I'll go to bed early tonight. I know that I've got hockey tomorrow night. I'll just do whatever. Yesterday was much the same. I didn't have to take the kiddo to practice or school early, but I needed to be at work early. And then by the time I got home, I had about 15 minutes of just to sit down and like shove some instant potatoes and Greek yogurt in my face, because that is my pregame meal every Tuesday. Before I had
carbs and protein, that's all you need.
Before I went out into the garage and practice before we left for the game. That's, you know, and sometimes I used to get very, very, very hard on myself when I couldn't be perfect all of the time. Like
it's
this
the
morning,
trauma.
Well,
it's the let's start with it's the trauma for that.
But I'm not gonna sit here and blame that on trauma.
That's part of it. It's part of it. It plays in.
But I used to, because I wanted to outwardly be what I was telling everybody I was. And it's not that I wasn't doing those things, but there was a time where it was a lot easier for me to be up at 4 a.m, have a workout, have everything done before I had to get the kid up to go to school.
Yeah.
And then I'd come home and then I'd work out a little bit after, but I wasn't working till 5 or 6 p.m. You know, I was off earlier in the day. I was, you know, I had a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah, and this is okay. So this is a great example because Sausha got brought on to this company before this company was the company that it is now. We were part of a smaller company and got amoebaed, and Sausha was there for all the start of that. So like growing pains are definitely a thing, and that's what I wanted to talk about this because like as someone that is part of it, but like very much still like third party. It's been interesting and fun to watch. Like, yeah, you used to have days where we would go in, you'd be off at 12:30, we'd rip off an episode and go fucking work out for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. We don't do that anymore because Sasha's a fucking senior producer at a media company. She's got shit to do. But like, it doesn't mean that she's still shirking all of her responsibilities or any of her fun. But also going back to the where you're talking about that mom, like everybody likes to present this era or this air of perfection on social media. Yeah. If you look at my Instagram, you would think that I'm a bitch at the top of her game that is a fucking alpha at whatever I do, that is never missing something, that's always fucking moving. Let me tell you, the real life version of who I am is very much not fucking that. Yeah, I work hard at what I do. I like what I do. I bust my ass when I have the availability, but I'm not fucking hustling 25/8, 366. Like, yes, people are like, oh my God, you've been, you know, it must be this and this and this. You've been a professional at this for so long. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I got to be a professional at what I do by doing the bare fucking minimum really fucking well. You don't have to go above and beyond all the time. Mm-hmm. You don't. It's not realistic. It's like being in the gym. Weird. We have a fucking correlation here. You don't have to go hard all the time. The max out or get out mantra is fucking bullshit. And that applies in the gym. It applies in real life. Like, you need to take a fucking break. And like lately for me, I've been taking a lot of fucking breaks because life's been intense. Like I said, I've had 2 fucking friends die on me this month. That's a lot to take in. It's my 3rd one this year. I think so. Yeah, I've got a good record going this year. It's been awesome. Let me tell you. But anyway, so like I've been nice to myself. And part of me being nice to myself is recognizing that I am not doing my normal output and verbalizing it to the people around me that I work with. Like, hey, I know that I'm not doing my normal shit right now. Mm-hmm. And Sausha can tell. Like everybody that I work with, like we have you need to be open with the people that you're around. If you're working with people on projects, if you're like just around people in general, you need to fucking be open with them when shit's hard, because how the fuck else are we gonna know? You might have a really good poker face and you think that you're wearing your shirt on your sleeve like I do, but you're not. Nobody has any fucking idea until you say anything. Like, we can't know until you speak up. So like, that's part of my thing. Like, if you are in a season that feels like it's wintertime, it feels like shit's dying off and you feel like ass, tell people around you. It's okay. It happens. Mm-hmm. It can't rain all the time, but also the sun's not always going to shine.
Exactly. I think that it's ironic. God damn it.
It did it again. Oops, Sasha shorter.
Hello, I'm back. Back to normal height.
Oops, all berries? No. Oops, Sasha shorter.
I think that it's funny, not funny, ironic, whatever you want to call it, that you bring that up because...
Pertinent.
Yes. Well, and here's the other thing too. Like, yes, you have all this output, or maybe not at wherever you're at. It doesn't matter. It's fine. And that brings us into the next point very well. Like, it is fine wherever that is, whatever season that is, whatever that looks like. If it's fucking, you're working out 1 day a week because that's what you have time for, fucking great.
You're moving your body.
Exactly.
Better than 0 times a day, 0 times a week.
It's important to be present. Mm-hmm. Instead, it can be super, super difficult when you're thinking about all the things that you're not doing that you normally would do because of just where you're at. and like get way far ahead of yourself. But sometimes that doesn't grant us enough time in a day to like be able to just like keep focusing on that stuff, right?
Yes.
Like you don't have enough time in the day to do the things that you want to be doing that you normally were doing that you did 6 months ago. Okay, cool.
It is so easy, just like you can get caught up in the past, to get caught looking forward, and you're not even looking at what's literally right in front of you right now. Don't do that.
Somebody said this to me forever ago, and it popped up recently again for me, and it pops up frequently now that I remembered that this had been said to me. But be where your hands are. All that means is like to be present. The only place that you can be physically right now are where your hands are, where your feet are, like where you physically are. Okay. So I was going through like a bunch of shit. And so when shit gets hairy, it pops up in my head again, because the only thing I can control is right here and right now. This is where my hands are at. This is the only place I can be physically as a human being. So, you know, when you're struggling with being busy or struggling with whatever, just be here in this moment, because that is the one thing that you can control. Just like, you know, being nice is fucking free, and it's like the only thing that's free. Like being present, because you're not doing anybody any favors by not being here. If you're distracted constantly by the things that you probably don't fucking have control over, it's not doing yourself or anybody any favors.
And it's probably making you bitchy.
Yes, and it's probably stressing you out.
I'm gonna be that fucking friend of yours that speaks up and says you're probably being bitchy. Because I do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
life is complex. There's so much going on. Like, what's the line from Ferris Bueller? Life is fast. If you stop too long, I don't even fucking remember. I'm old. And there's a line from Ferris Bueller at the beginning of the movie that's a good example of that. Go watch it. It's fucking fantastic. Abe Froman, Sausage King of Chicago. What up? But anyway, life wasn't meant to be easy. Unfortunately for us as humankind in the year of our Lord 2022, sometimes it can be easy to get ahead of ourselves and cause yourself unneeded stress because you're worrying about shit that isn't even happening yet. Hi. Hello.
Yeah.
Calling myself out on this. I am the queen of that. Did you find it?
Yes. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
There you go. I totally fucking butchered it, but
close.
that's why we have the internet.
Close.
Anyway, he says it in a bathrobe with a fucking toothbrush hanging out of his mouth. I can tell you that part of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like when you figure out how to adapt to things that you can't control, huge. This is a tactic you learn in therapy. And again, because therapy is expensive, this is why we do these episodes. So like in therapy, they're like, okay, well, this happened. You tell them that, you know, it's like, okay, well, this bullshit happened this week. And they're like, all right, well, how did you react to the bullshit? And it's like, well, I did this. And they're like, do you think that's the right choice you made? I'm like, I don't know. Here's why I made that choice. And they're like, okay, that's good enough for me. And they're like, look, you can figure out how to take a situation, make it logical, adjust, and move forward. And it's like, huh.
So it's funny that you bring that up because there's actually 3 states of mind. So you have emotional mind, reasonable mind, and wise mind. Emotional mind is when you're just reacting. It's your initial, like your gut reaction. Reasonable mind is what you were just kind of talking about, where your therapist or whoever you're talking to is going to ask you, okay, well, how did you react? And then you talk about why there could have been a better reaction or why you reacted in that specific way. And then wise mind is accepting things for what they are. Like you can get yourself to reasonable mind pretty well, but getting to wise mind and the acceptance part of it can be really difficult.
Yes.
And
I'm just laughing to myself right now, giggling about how 66% of that pie chart is reasonable and wise, but yet the 33.3% of emotional comes in and shits all over everything all the time.
Sure.
Fucking minority. It's the minority brain function, and it's ruining everything.
This is shocking to you, but emotion mind is motivated by intense emotions.
Fuck my life.
Logic, reason, and facts are not easily accessible or acknowledged. Reasonable mind is ruled by extreme reason, logic, and facts. So you're like moving yourself from emotional mind to like you're being reasonable. It's like probably the fucking direct opposite of that.
I hate that my brain has such a disconnect between
plan
emotional
and evaluate
and
stuff in a reasonable mind, and then a wise mind is a state of mind that we strive to be in. It integrates both emotional mind and reasonable mind, marries them together, and it is a balanced form of the two. You can be emotional and have emotional responses to things. But reasonably, how do you react differently if it was a negative experience in the future? And in the middle is wise mind.
Yeah. Yeah, wise mind, I feel for me, has been gained by being perpetually disappointed by other human beings.
Yeah.
And lots of fucking therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how'd Sadie get wise mind? Therapy and people fucking me over. There you go. But yeah, like don't stress. Bringing it back to what we were talking about. Don't stress out about shit that hasn't even happened yet. Trust me, I get it. I have fucking awesome anxiety disorder stacked on top of anxiety disorder. Like, I am the doom and gloom person when something has any scent of going wrong. I am the first person that's like, okay, Sausha, we're going to have to plan for these 26 things that might happen but probably won't. And she'll be like, dude. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
I always feel like a wet blanket because I understand where you're coming from.
Hypervigilance is my curse.
And I'm like, so I won't react to things anymore. And so, like, I think that we counterbalance each other very well in that way.
We would have destroyed each other in our 20s, but in our 30s, we've been great for each other.
Yes.
Again, life seasons, you can fucking change.
Exactly.
If you're an asshole, you don't have to be an asshole forever.
It's true.
We were assigned former assholes.
Still can be an asshole sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm not a raging asshole like I used to be at all.
About like 15% now versus 75.
Yeah, I've dialed it back in my old age. I've mellowed out a bit. You're like a fine wine. You mellow out as you get older, or you don't, and people just don't want to fucking talk to you anymore.
Right.
That's how you figure it out.
So I've been stressing out about not being able to be consistent as consistent as I once was. Like, I was 6 days a week up at, like working out in a storage unit that's in the cold that wasn't climate controlled at 6 a.m. every single morning, 6 days a week. That was like 2.5 years ago. And I, at the time, I just had my side hustle.
Yeah.
Because I'd been laid off from my job and I was like
Were
really
you on
pissed.
Stay-at-home wife TikTok?
No, I wasn't even on TikTok. I just wasn't like, I was so pissed off about being laid off that I poured all of myself into what I wanted to do fitness wise.
Which is what you needed at the time, though.
I did very much, especially for my mental health.
Yeah.
But like, whether that was lifting or running or a combination of both, but when I pull back and look at it, I have to figure out what my priorities are at this very moment in my life. So right now, the most important thing to me is balancing work and life. And it's, I don't want to take away from my family because I'm working 55 hours a week and not have any time for them, not because I'm being selfish by working out, but because that's just what my day looks like right now.
Right.
If it means that so today is Wednesday. Granted, this week's a little different because I ran half marathon on Sunday. So like I need to take a rest.
Yes.
Last night very much taught me that because I thought my legs were going to fall off.
Yeah. How was hockey?
Oh, man. If I could stand upright.
I was like, oh, okay.
I don't fall that much anymore.
Anymore. I like that you qualified it with anymore.
So
we still fall down a lot.
I looked at my forward partner and I was like, dude, I'm telling you right now, my legs are tired. So you might have to skate up faster and don't hit the puck at me so fast because I'm not going to chase it
anymore.
But I just have to look at that. And sometimes, a lot of the times, that's what the week looks like. Yeah. I'll work out Monday. I won't lift on Tuesdays. Wednesday, and because Tuesdays are a late night, I usually make you just have to like move shit around and make it work based on what your priorities are.
Yeah.
My priority right now is not working out 6 days a week. That does not work for me right now. That worked for me 2.5, 3 years ago.
Nor do you even want to, because working out 6 days a week is not fun.
Even if like one of those is an active recovery day. But like I also know that this isn't going to last forever. In the next couple of weeks / towards the end of football season, my life's going to look a lot different in, December. So like I can hold on and these are my priorities right now until I know where that other point is. And sometimes you can see the next season coming and sometimes you can't. And that's okay too. You don't have to be able to predict the future. Again, be where you're at right now and wherever that is okay. It's just where you're at.
Don't try to predict the future because it just can lead to you. When we talk about, I
don't mean predicting the future.
No. But like, I'm not meaning it like that. I'm meaning like I was going to talk about expectations because when you do that kind of shit, like you're setting yourself up for false expectations because you're already dreaming about a scenario that you don't even know is going to happen. Mm-hmm. So if it doesn't happen, you're going to be really fucking disappointed because you've put all this time and energy into thinking about how it's just going to be perfect, right? Don't do that shit.
I was really looking forward to December.
No, I know. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying in general.
But you're right. Yes.
I'm not. Here I am to shit on your Cheerios. Fuck you, Sausha. All over.
That's funny.
Bend
Sorry.
a biscuit in your bowl of oatmeal. Suck it. But anyway, no, like I'm just talking like broad strokes in general.
Yes,
I wasn't
know.
shitting on you. Jeez. If I did that, I'd look at you and fucking do it. I wouldn't look at the camera. What kind of spineless shit do you think I am? No, anyway, like don't get caught up in what doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yep.
Don't get caught up in what doesn't exist yet. It's fine to make plans ahead for a month. Like 30 days is easily plannable. But I'm talking about like when I talk to people and they're like, yeah, I want to meet the perfect man and we're going to have 4 kids
By the
and
time I'm 32.
and I'm like,
You don't know that.
you have no fucking idea that you're even going to be breathing to make sure that those things proceed in 6 days. Let alone 6, 7, 8, 9, 20 years when you're fucking 14 years old and I hear girls talk about that shit. Like, I'm like, you're a baby. Fuck that. Like, why are you at 14 years old, instead of worrying about making the fucking soccer team and passing your geometry test, why are you talking about having children for some fucking man that doesn't even exist in your world yet?
Right.
Fuck the patriarchy. That's what that is.
Boom.
But anyway, like sometimes you just got to freeball it and figure out what your priorities are right now. And so like for me personally, I am just now getting back into fitness. I know I am squishy and soft and I am scrawny because I haven't touched a barbell in over a year, but I had knee surgery 4 months ago, so I've been taking it fucking easy. I got a Planet Fitness membership the other day because I need machines to do rehab work that I don't have in my garage. Am I excited to have a Planet Fitness membership? Actually, yes, because it means I can get the fuck out of my house.
Right.
But like you got to take your silver linings where you can find them. You know, since I got hurt, I've been playing a fuckload of video games. I'm, you know, that's like my main way of socializing when I was stuck at home after surgery. So like that's a thing that I like to do that I enjoy. Like your enjoyment is going to look different than someone else's. Yes, I like to work out. Yes, I'm a giant fucking nerd that plays video games at a super competitive level with my friends on a daily basis. However, like you can do both. I also, you know, make sure that I make time to cook a meal for, you know, Phil and I every day. I make sure that I get individual time to hang out with each of my cats every day, that we get playtime because they are individuals as well and they deserve attention. Like, it just depends on where you're at in your life. Now, obviously, I am a stay-at-home hermit that does all of my life and most of my work from my house. So, like, my examples are not going to be at all similar to what your examples are going to be, and that's okay. Everybody's life is different. We're all in different seasons, motherfucker, you know? Like, so just make sure that you're making time for the things that fill your cup because there is so much fucking shit outside there right now, outside of us, that is terrible. You know, like you look at, not to get too fucking heavy here, but you look at like what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. There is always the ever imminent looming threat of fucking nuclear war happening like that. That shit's scary. It's hard to fucking run the rat race when you're in the shadow of an imminent maybe nuclear war. Like you just got to remember there is so much going on that all you can do is be where you are.
Yep.
Be where your hands are. I'm going to repeat Sausha, but it's true. Fucking be where you are and try to find something in it that you enjoy.
Yep.
Because again, it can't fucking rain all the time.
No, it can't. And like, you know, you gave some really good examples just of like the season of life that you're in. Like I kind of touched on earlier, you know, I have to just, I mean, if it's just a walk, I just signed up for an example. I'm doing 30 miles in November for St. Jude. I have to have a goal. I have noticed, we've talked about, honestly, if you listen to the podcast from the beginning to right now, we've obviously gone through different seasons, even through the podcast and the things that we talk about and that are
mental
important.
Health checks a year ago.
Yes.
Oof.
So
I was
different.
such an angry person.
Even just the topics of the, rest of the month have evolved and changed a little bit. I just think that it's important to, we're going to say the name of this episode is Be Where Your Hands Are.
Yeah, we just decided.
But, like the season of life that I'm in right now, I'm going to do whatever I can to move my body and get enjoyment out of it. I'm implementing more lifting again because I'm not focused extremely on running. And whenever that fits in, it fits in. I'm not going to beat myself up because I don't have goals outside of that right now.
You're in off season though. I mean, you gotta look at it this way. You're in off season. You're training.
Right.
You're training for stuff that's happening in the spring, or like in the late spring, early summer, and then into the fall.
And all I'm saying is like being able to go with the ebb and flow of that, because sometimes that's what it's going to look like in your life too. You know, like as long as I can move my body 3 days a week in whatever way that looks like, I'm going to be satisfied with that. Not worried about aesthetic goals right now. I'll worry about that in a couple months when things slow down a little bit. Until then, I'm going to enjoy.
Season. We're going to hide under. We're going to be fluffy bulkers under our hoodies and our sweatpants.
Hang out with my husband when I can, and my stepkid, and like enjoy our family time and stuff like that. And also make time for me, whether that's reading or taking a bath or hanging out with the dog, whatever the fuck it looks like.
Yeah.
That's what the balance looks like for me right now. And I kind of am finally getting to the point where I'm okay with that. I'm not beating myself up over it anymore, because now this is just the season I'm in. And that's okay if that's what the season looks like for you.
If you've ever watched someone body surf at an ocean before, you learn a very hard lesson about nature. One, it can fucking kill you in an instant, and it's gorgeous while it does it.
Yeah.
Two, you can't fucking fight it. Like, there are two things that are always going to win: Mother Nature and Father Time. They are fucking undefeated. Look it up. Wikipedia says so too, probably. I don't know. But like, you're never going to beat time, and you're never going to beat Mother Nature. Fucking ride the wave, man. Swim into it. Don't swim against it. Just keep fucking swimming, but swim into it.
Lean into it.
You can't fight the wave. Just fucking ride it. It's scary. You don't know where it's going to go, but fucking ride it and see what happens.
At least enjoy it while it's going on.
Yes. Yes.
That's all you can do.
Like, as someone who has had major ups and major downs in their lives, like, it's the same thing either way. It's like, well, this is the fucking pool I've got to get into. Guess I'm going to swim. That's your choice.
Yeah.
Adapt or die. Seriously. Like, and when we say that, like, I'm not like adapt or die literally, but like, that's the thing. Either you adapt or you don't. You don't want to get left behind.
Right.
That sucks. Nobody wants to be left behind. FOMO, very real thing, especially in the world with internet and everybody seeing what everyone else has going on at the time, you know? But like, be patient with yourself. And we've said it a lot, and I'm not always super fucking great at it, and neither is she, but we try. And we remind ourselves just as often as we have to, be patient with yourself, because when mental health is the topic, you always have to remember this. All things take time. All things take time.
Yes.
To build, to break, everything takes time. Mental health and seasons of life are no fucking different. And we bring it up a lot, but it's important to remember, if you're in a rough patch right now, please remember that it can't rain all the time. I know it's shitty. I know it's dark. I know it's scary. I know it's fucking lonely, but you're not alone. Your brain is a liar. You can get out of this and you can move forward. I know, she knows. There are many other people that know this. Like, you can keep moving. It's shitty right now. Just because it's shitty right now doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever.
No.
It can change. But you have to make it change. You're the only person that has the ability to make it change. Nobody can do it for you. You can ask for help, and then people can help you, but you still have to make the decision to make the change and ask for help, if that makes sense.
Yes. You have to, and it sucks to like speak in absolutes when it comes to this kind of stuff, but it's one of those things that really doesn't have a gray area. Either you are willing to ask for help and help yourself and talk about it and put things in place and implement new skills and things like that, or not.
Yeah.
And I know that it's super hard to make the decision to care enough about yourself to do that, to implement those tools, to fill up your toolbox, to re-energize yourself in any way. I also understand that it's really fucking hard to open up to people. I get it.
That's what I was going to touch on.
But at the same time, either you want to be here and you're willing to put in the work, or it's a really dark place, and I don't want to. I guess I'll put a trigger warning on this, or you're not here anymore.
Yeah,
and,
I mean that's there's not a lot of absolutes when it comes to your mental health, but either you want to live or you don't, and like that's really it's blunt. It's very cut and dry. It sounds shitty, but either you do or you don't. As someone that has made the decision that I do want to live, I have no problem making that statement, because there are days where I very much don't. And those are the days where I talk to somebody and they're like, hey man, your brain's fucking lying to you. It's lying to you because of X, Y, and Z. and I can show that to you. This is why it's so fucking important to reach out. One of the people I lost this month was somebody that didn't want help. And they didn't take their life on their own. It was a complication of them not wanting help. And that shit's hard to swallow. Because Sausha and I know this person, we both know this person, and we had conversations about it. Like, hey, do we step in and talk to them? And it's like, no, they don't want help. It's not going to be well received. And it's like, you can't do something for somebody unless they decide they want to do it.
Here, and that's the thing, because I think in a way, mental health, obviously, and addiction are very, if not dependent on each other, almost the exact same thing.
Yep. Well, I have addiction from poor mental health, so yes, right. I feel like they're very much in the same stride, yeah.
And, I mean, ultimately, you can't force, like, nobody can force you, even if they know what's going on, to get help.
No. And nobody wants to be that person either. Nobody fucking wants to be that person. Nobody wants to stage an intervention.
Whether it's for addiction or just your mental health.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I think these mental health checks are so important to us, because as long as we keep talking about it, maybe we'll reach somebody that didn't hear us last time and really needed to hear it now.
Yeah.
And there's a plethora of mental health resources out there that are free of charge.
You don't even, if you need help finding them, email us. You don't have to tell us fucking anything. Just be like,
hey, an anonymous email.
I need those resources.
Yep.
We'll send them. We don't care. We're happy to fucking provide that information.
Yeah. I think that, mental health care and things like that are self-care. And if anybody tries to tell you otherwise, it's probably because they're not familiar with having to deal with mental health problems,
or they're trying to take advantage of a situation with your mental health,
or they just have never experienced it, so it's hard for them to understand.
Also that.
So I mean, if you're struggling, you need activities to do. If you need mental health resources, if you're looking for a new hobby, like, dude, I have so many hobbies.
Right. Like, how many adult coloring books do I have?
I know, right? Make sure that you're getting enough sleep. Sometimes not getting inadequate sleep or not eating very well in terms of nutritional choices can make things worse. I found that out for myself. If I'm getting inadequate sleep and I'm already stressed out and I'm already depressed, it doesn't get any better any faster. I need to prioritize sleep at that point, self-care, like a bath, reading a book, going for a walk, stuff like that to clear my head or not think at all. I mean,
my therapist rule of thumb was this: do you hate everyone? You need to eat. Does everyone hate you? You need to sleep. That's how my brain works.
Yeah.
Are you hangry and you fucking hate everybody? Go eat. You're being a pain in the ass.
Yep.
Oh, you think the world is falling down and your brain's telling you that everybody hates you even though they don't and they think you're awesome? Go take a nap. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't tell you the power of fucking sleeping off depression. Someone that, like, no, I'm serious. Like, a nap can fucking, like, a depression nap can change your entire day. Like, you take that nap thinking that you're the shittiest asshole in the fucking face of the earth, and then you wake up 3.5 hours later and you're like, hey, sorry about that. Apparently I just needed some fucking sleep.
Yeah.
Oops.
Sorry.
Don't be like us.
Yes, exactly.
Don't be like us.
And like I said, like, I think that just knowing, like, some of what your warning signs are, figuring out those things is super important. Yeah, it does have to do with seasons of life, because I tell you what, my warning signs.
Seasonal affective disorder is a huge one. If we're going to talk specifically about seasons too, that's like.
I was going to say, like, my warning signs for stuff when it's wrong have changed per different seasons of my life too. I mean, now I have to really pay attention because it's not as obvious anymore, because I'm not acting out all the time. Because I have tools to not do that. So now it can kind of be a creepy little fucker.
I'm really glad that we don't have the technology from All Real Monsters where they put you in the chair and they project your brain onto the sheet on the wall. Because goddamn, would I have some fucking gems to show you of blow-ups and shit that I have said to people and things I have broken. It's embarrassing. Like, you need to know your own warning signs. And same for me. Like, my warning signs have changed. My warning signs now are thought processes instead of actions. because I am far more, I don't know, I guess I've really slid into my introverted side of life now that I'm old and like got rid of most of those bullshit people in your life that you thought were friends, but were just fucking vampires and coattail riders and all that shit that you get when you make friends in your 20s, because everybody thinks each other is cool and they all want shit from each other. And then you realize after you get a certain age range, you're just like, this is fucking stupid. Why am I doing this?
Right.
I'm there now, finally. So like it manifests in different ways. But yeah, this is why therapy is important, because it can help you pick these things out easier because you know how your brain works. And yes, therapy is expensive. There are resources out there that are free or cheap available to you wherever you are. Again, just send an email, tell us where you are, and we can fucking send that shit right back. You don't have to give us any other information. We don't care. We don't want to know. If you need help, we want to help. That's all that we care about. Seek support. You need a support system. If you don't have one yet, please find one. If you need one immediately, hello, we will be your support system. We are here.
Yes.
When you find encouragement from family members or a support group, maintaining relationships with others is important. It can be hard. As someone, that went through something really shitty and traumatic 5 years ago that almost killed me, I am a completely different fucking person than I was before. Now, Sausha knew me for like a couple years before that, briefly, like just through exchanges on the internet. But even then, she can tell you now, like me then versus me now is completely two different me's.
Yeah.
Because shit happens and you change. I had a really terrible, awful fucking season of life I would say I'm still probably in it because it still is affecting me. So it still probably is part of a season. But like that shit can stick around for a while. And if it does, it's okay. Bad shit happens and you're allowed to be frustrated about it. You're allowed to be sad about it. You're allowed to be pissed that your situation hasn't changed to the point where you do something about it. Take action. You are the only fucking person that can take action in your life. You have to do it. Like, I know it sucks when your mental health is low. You don't want to reach out. You think everybody hates you. It's scary to talk about your feelings, but fucking take action. It can literally save your life.
And as always, if you're going through a tough time, our DMs are always open. We're at Meathead Test Kitchen everywhere except for Twitter. We're at MTK Staff. You can always send us an email, hello@meatheadtestkitchen.com. We link resources. I think we have a list on the website, and if not, we can just send them to you via email.
If you search, I think mental health resources, there's a couple of posts from show notes that'll come up with some information.
Yes. Make sure that you are as kind to yourself as you are to other people.
And if you're not kind to other people, knock that shit off. Be nice. God damn it.
I love you very much.
Sadie will show up. You say Sadie, Sadie, Sadie 3 times. I'll Beetlejuice and slap you for being mean to somebody on the internet. Watch, it'll happen. Meathead Test Kitchen.
Out.
Join Sadie and Sausha every Monday, helping to make your fitness and nutrition journey suck less. MTK.